Welcome to Movie Explainer. The Nun 2 Introduction. The Nun 2 is a 2023 supernatural horror film directed by Michael Chavez that serves as the sequel to The Nun, 2018, and is the ninth installment in the Conjuring universe. Released on September 8, 2023, the film continues the story of Sister Irene as she once again confronts the demonic entity Valak. Starring Thaisa Farmiga, Jonas Bloquet, and Storm Reed, the film expands on the mythology established in the first film while delivering new scares and revelations. Setting and timeline. The film is set in 1956 France, 4 years after the events of the first film, which took place in Romania. This places it chronologically before the main Conjuring films, but after The Nun in the franchise timeline. The story primarily unfolds across various religious sites in France, creating an atmosphere of Gothic dread with its ancient abbeys, churches, and boarding schools. Plot summary. Act 1. A new threat emerges. The film begins with the brutal murder of a priest in France, establishing that evil is once again on the rise. Meanwhile, Sister Irene, Thaisa Farmiga, is living in a convent in Italy, still haunted by her encounter with Valak at the Abbey of St. Carta in Romania years earlier. When news reaches the Vatican about a series of mysterious deaths at religious sites across France, Cardinal Conroy summons Sister Irene. He believes these incidents may be connected to Valak, the demonic nun she previously confronted. Despite her reluctance to face this evil again, Sister Irene agrees to investigate. Driven by her faith and sense of duty, she is paired with Sister Deborah, Storm Reed, a novice nun with visions that may prove useful in their mission. Together, they travel to France to investigate the mysterious deaths. Act 2. The investigation deepens in France. Sister Irene and Sister Deborah discover that Maurice Frenchy-Thériault, Jonas Bloquet, Irene's ally from the first film, is now working as a handyman at a boarding school near where some of the incidents have occurred. Frenchy has been trying to live a normal life but is plagued by strange occurrences and blackouts. The investigation leads them to uncover that the victims all have a connection to an ancient religious artifact, a relic known as the Eye of St. Lucy, which was thought to have been lost during the events at the Romanian Abbey. This relic is said to contain powerful holy properties that can seal away demons. As they delve deeper, Sister Irene realizes that Valak is attempting to destroy all pieces of the relic to prevent them from being used against it. Furthermore, she discovers that Frenchy may be unwittingly helping Valak due to a demonic possession that began at the end of the first film when Valak marked him. Act 3. Confronting the darkness. The situation intensifies when Valak targets the boarding school where many children reside. Sister Irene learns that the final piece of the relic is hidden within the school's chapel. As Valak's influence grows stronger, Frenchy's possession becomes more apparent, causing him to act as the demon's agent while struggling against its control. Sister Deborah's visions become clearer, revealing that she has a special purpose in this battle. Meanwhile, Sister Irene must race against time to reassemble the scattered pieces of the Eye of St. Lucy before Valak can destroy them all. The climax takes place in the school's underground catacombs where Valak has been gaining strength. Sister Irene, with help from Sister Deborah and moments of clarity from Frenchy, performs a ritual using the reassembled relic. During an intense spiritual battle, they temporarily manage to contain Valak's power, though not destroy it completely. Epilogue and connection to the wider universe. The film's ending reveals that while they've won this battle, Valak's influence on Frenchy continues subtly, setting up the events that will eventually lead to the beginning of The Conjuring, where an older Maurice Thériault seeks help from Ed and Lorraine Warren. This connection firmly ties The Nun 2 into the larger Conjuring universe timeline. A mid-credits scene hints at future installments and connections to other films in the franchise. Themes and motifs. Faith versus fear. The central theme of The Nun 2 is the battle between faith and fear. Sister Irene's unwavering belief is continuously tested by Valak, who uses fear as its primary weapon. The film explores how spiritual conviction can be both vulnerable to doubt and ultimately the strongest defense against darkness. Corruption and possession. The gradual corruption of Frenchy serves as a powerful narrative device, showing how evil can slowly take hold and manipulate even good people. His struggle against possession represents the internal battle between light and darkness within all individuals. Sacred versus profane. The film juxtaposes sacred spaces, churches, abbeys, relics, with their profane corruption by Valak. This visual and thematic contrast emphasizes the violation of sanctity that makes the horror all the more disturbing. Visual style and cinematography. Director Michael Chavez employs a distinct visual approach that honors the Gothic sensibilities established by the first film while adding his own signature. The film features rich, shadowy compositions that obscure as much as they reveal, dramatic use of religious iconography and architecture, unsettling camera movements that create disorientation, contrasts between warm, safe spaces and cold, threatening environments. The film maintains the distinctive blue-tinged color palette associated with Valak's presence, serving as a visual cue for the demon's influence spreading throughout the story. Sound design and score. The film's sound design plays a crucial role in building tension, with silence used strategically to heighten anxiety, subtle audio cues that suggest supernatural presence, religious chanting, and corrupted sacred music. A haunting score by Marco Beltrami that incorporates themes from the original film, while establishing new motifs. Character development. Sister Irene's character shows significant growth from the first film. While she remains devout, her faith is now tempered by experience. She's more confident in her abilities, but carries the trauma of her previous encounter with Valak. Her journey involves not just confronting external evil but also her own fears and doubts. Maurice Frenchie provides both comic relief and tragic depth to the story. His struggle against Valak's influence creates some of the film's most emotionally resonant moments. His character arc, from helpful ally to unwitting antagonist to someone fighting for his soul, gives the film emotional stakes beyond just the supernatural threat. Sister Deborah. As a newcomer to the franchise, Sister Deborah represents fresh faith uninitiated to the horrors of demonic forces. Her visions and intuitive abilities make her valuable in the fight against Valak, while her perspective offers viewers a new entry point into the established mythology. Connection to the Conjuring universe. The Nun 2 strengthens its ties to the broader Conjuring universe by expanding on Valak's motivations and abilities, showing the progression of Frenchie's possession that will eventually lead to the opening scene of the first Conjuring film, incorporating subtle references to artifacts and cases that appear in other films in the franchise, deepening the mythology around the spiritual warfare that defines the series' reception and impact upon its release. The Nun 2 received mixed reviews from critics but performed well at the box office, demonstrating the continued appeal of the Conjuring universe. Critics praised the atmospheric direction, performances, particularly Farmiga and Bloquet, and effective scares, while some noted that the film followed familiar horror formulas. The film succeeded in expanding the franchise's lore while delivering the gothic horror elements fans expected. It continued the tradition of using religious horror as a vehicle for exploring themes of faith, evil, and redemption that have made the Conjuring universe distinctive in the modern horror landscape. Conclusion. The Nun 2 stands as a worthy continuation of both the specific storyline begun in The Nun and the larger Conjuring franchise. By deepening its characters, expanding its mythology, and delivering effective scares, the film satisfies genre fans while pushing the narrative forward. It reminds viewers that in the battle between light and darkness, faith may be tested but remains the ultimate weapon against evil. Even as it concludes one chapter in the ongoing saga, it leaves doors open for future explorations of this richly developed supernatural world, ensuring that Valak's terrifying presence will continue to haunt audiences in films to come. Thank you for watching.